The Pittsburgh Steelers have even more drama yet again here in Week 18, the most pivotal week of the season for the Pittsburgh Steelers as they try to push forward to make the playoffs here in 2024. Welcome back to Mike Drop Sports, everybody. I'm Jason. Let's break down the Steelers a little bit and talk a little bit about Kenny Pickett, the man of the hour, the guy in the headlines, the guy that supposedly didn't want to be the number 2 quarterback to Mason Rudolph this past Sunday in Seattle. How true is it? We don't know. Some of the so-called insiders, guys that say they're insiders and that they know more than everybody else, kind of confirmed and said, hey, Kenny Pickett sat down, told Mike Tomlin, if I'm not starting, I'm not doing it. And that's how Kenny ended up being the number 3. Mike Tomlin comes out and says Kenny wasn't ready until Thursday, and Mike Tomlin didn't want to speculate, and he didn't see enough from Kenny through the week to be comfortable putting him in there. So Kenny wasn't even dressed. He was put as the third-string emergency guy. Then you had Kenny come out today, kind of scolding the media, saying, hey, don't put things out there that are untrue. Don't try to discredit me. Don't try to dog my character. And Kenny kind of scolded him pretty decent, kind of saying, hey, this is not true, and whoever said it is kind of ridiculous. Wherever it started, it's not true, and it's falsehoods. And Kenny kind of said, hey, the Steelers said if I were healthy, I was going to start. So that adds another layer to it. And then you had Mason perform well again. Now Kenny sits here, and he's the number 2 this week, headed into Baltimore. And Kenny said, hey, I'm the number 2 guy heading into Baltimore. I just got to get ready for Baltimore. And if you have any more questions about Baltimore, I'm all ears. I'll answer those. But reporters kept trying to go back at him and with the talk about not wanting to be the number 2. And Kenny kind of said, hey, I gave you a good answer. I gave you the answer. Like, quit asking me. And Kenny was kind of hostile inside that media scrum today. And kind of glad to see it. I like that fire. I like that craziness a little bit. And for these so-called insiders that started this, is it true? I'm sure there's some sort of validity to it. I'm sure there's some sort of part that is true. It may be just pieces of it that are true. It may not really be fully true, and it may be exaggerated a great deal. You had one of the biggest loudmouths in Pittsburgh, and Mark Madden reported, one of the first people to report it, saying that the media in Pittsburgh's too scared to report it, that they didn't want to piss off the Steelers franchise by reporting it. But Mark Madden said that it was true. Mark Madden, one of the biggest loudmouths in Pittsburgh. I don't really take much credit into anything he says because I think his takes are horrible at times. He tries to just be this super realist all the time. I don't know. Sometimes he just goes off the wall a little bit. I don't know what you would call it. I'm just not really fond of his takes, and I think it stems from him openly admitting that he really dislikes the NFL. He doesn't watch the NFL at all, and yet he has to watch the Steelers because it's his job. That's the only reason why he watches them, and it just becomes bad take after bad take. And you just get sick of so much negativity. There's nothing that he doesn't take both sides of it. He doesn't look at any of the highlights. He doesn't look at any, he's just looking at the downfalls. And it just gets old to hear the repetitive nature of Tomlin sucks, Kenny sucks, the team sucks, the franchise sucks, Khan sucks. We get it, bro. You don't like the team. We get you don't like the NFL. The takes just become ridiculous after a bit and a little bit too much, a little bit over the top. I get that he was I think he was involved in pro wrestling or something. So that's where he gets his loudmouth, idiotic behavior, I think, sometimes. But I don't like to dig in on media people at all. I'm not a media person. I do this, but I don't consider it like a media personality in Pittsburgh in any way, shape, or form. So I don't dig in on those guys because I know they have a very hard job and it's very tough to do what they do, and they got to find stories, and that's what it is. I kind of believe more guys like DK Pittsburgh Sports. DK gives you pretty accurate stuff. DK is a pretty honest fella, at least it seems like it, and you want that kind of guy. That's where you want to kind of get, that insider type stuff. Guy that's close to the franchise. A guy that has connections inside that building. And I would believe more of what he's reporting than loudmouth Mark Madden. I guess there's some other ones. I'm not sure which other ones. Maybe like Jerry Dulac and those guys who are the insiders, I guess. I think insider guys should be reserved for somebody that's actually inside the building, a guy that's in the meetings, a guy that is around this team fully, not just in a media driven way. In a media scrum in the locker room. That's not inside that team. You're not getting the full gamut of information. No matter if you got a connection in there or not. There's always little Tweety birds that are going to report stuff. And it's often weird to try to figure that out, because it's like, who in there's talking? Who in there spreading the business? Who in there is giving this information? Like, man, that's bad. And you just wonder often just where this stuff comes from. I don't get it. I don't get it. Who would just release it? And I get it. This is a soap opera for the sports lover. This is more reality television than so-called reality shows. It's pretty in-depth at times. And there's always stories. There's always things going on. There's always hot takes. And it just becomes overwhelming for a team after a while. And Kenny Pickett now finding himself in the crosshairs here in the last couple weeks since he's got injured, since Mason started to play well, the downfall of Mitchell Trubisky, the quarterback carousel in Pittsburgh, and now you're just seeing this thing just snowball. And now you have Kenny Pickett becoming short and hot with the media in the media scrums. You have him saying that they're liars, basically calling them out, saying that they're liars. Then you have Mike Tomlin trying to come to the defense of Kenny Pickett also and kind of clear it up. It just becomes a real mess. And then it makes you wonder sometimes, are they worried about playing football? Is that why they lost to a couple teams? They were more worried about playing in the media than they were about football? If you're a football fan, you don't want the drama. You want a buttoned-up franchise, a buttoned-up team that keeps their info inside. Doesn't have this leaky information thing going back and forth all the time to where reporters are getting things that they shouldn't get. You don't want to see that with your football team, guys. You don't. You want to see a more buttoned-up squad. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys, find themselves in a real mess yet again. Kenny Pickett now going in to be number 2. But remember what we said on the channel. It shouldn't matter. Nobody should give a shit inside that building if Kenny Pickett is pissed off. And if you were Mike Tomlin and you were any type of real coach, if he would have came to you and actually said, hey, I'm not being the number 2, I'd have said, buddy, you know where the door is. You'll do what I say. I'm the boss here. You know where the door is, bro. Honestly, I'd rather lose than to allow my locker room to be contaminated when people know you can come in and throw a fit and get your way like an infant child. You can't do that. And I hope that didn't happen. And I hope if Mike Tomlin did have that happen, that he shut it down real quick. Which it seems like maybe he did, and he's just trying to cover it up in the media, and that's why Kenny's pissed. Maybe that did happen. Maybe Mike shut her down, man. But what do you do, guys? Do you pay attention to it if you're the Steelers? In my humble opinion, I think you should just tell Kenny to kiss your ass and move on. If you don't like being the number 2, don't do it. If you don't want to work hard, don't do it. When you get your opportunity, you're going to fail, and that will just solidify us needing to move on from you. Basically is what I would tell him. Period. You can be cool with players, but yet be stern. I mean, it's anywhere and if you're in a position of authority. And you can still be decent with people and yet put the hammer down. And sometimes that needs to be done. But again, guys, I'm not sure where this goes. All I know is I think they need to start Mason Rudolph and continue down the path that they're on right now and continue to let this grow. And if Mason gets in trouble and your season appears to be in jeopardy, then you have to throw Kenny in there. Throw him in there. Maybe this gives him some fire, gives him some spark. Maybe this gets him going. We'll never know. But we'll see. Maybe the so-called insiders will give us some more inside information that they may make up or may actually have. Who really knows? All right, guys, let's keep on moving. The drama just keeps on getting more and more and more and more. It becomes kind of crazy. We'll talk about it more tomorrow. I want you guys to leave your comments, your opinions on the matter. But let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and really just some basic things with them as they head into Baltimore. Must win, guys. We've talked about it over and over. It's a must win. You could get in with a Buffalo loss, a Jaguars loss, a Texans, Colts tie. So you have some outs. And if you're a Steelers fan, I think you should have some optimism. I think that you should feel a little bit better this year than you have in the past. I'm saying that it's still far-fetched, maybe a little bit that they make it. Maybe you still have to have some things fall your way. But I would say their chances are a lot better than at least they were last year. So if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, those are the clear-cut ways to get into the playoffs. You got to win, though, if you're the Steelers. You got to set yourself up with that win and your percentage of it happening go way, way up. And that's just what you need to do, guys. It has to be a buttoned-up team. And all this drama that's going on, you can't allow to infect this team because you really have a tough matchup ahead of you. And are the Baltimore Ravens going to play Lamar Jackson? Are they going to be able to sit really that many people? Do they bury guys back down on the depth chart and allow guys that are third, fourth, string? There's only 53 guys on an active roster. They only dress 40-something, I believe. So you can bring up, 2 from the practice squad, I believe. You could, deactivate a couple people, so there's 2. You could probably maybe, guys, get away with 7, 8 starters being out probably at one time without having to make any big moves, maybe. That's just my guess. I'm not 1,000% sure. So really, how depleted are they going to be? And is Lamar Jackson going to play at all? And if you're the Baltimore Ravens, what do? You guys leave that in the comments. Let me know if you're the Baltimore Ravens and you're their franchise, a team that's already secured the number 1 overall seed. You have the MVP and quarterback Lamar Jackson. Do you risk it or do you sit them all and ride it out and not play again until the second round of the playoffs? Is that what you do? Are they going to come out flat? Are they going to come out really stale? And maybe stumble. Or if you're the Ravens, Lamar's been hurt so many times and he can't win big games. What's he have, like 1 or 2 playoff wins? Maybe 1. I think 1. So if you're the Ravens, what do? You have a guy that's usually hurt that doesn't even make it into the playoffs because he's hurt and so he don't play. Or if he does get in there, he hasn't been able to win big games. And now that you have a good team, do you risk catastrophic injury and catastrophic setback? What do? I think they're in a tough spot. And Lamar Jackson, I've said it for his whole career, and I get told that I'm crazy. He can't win big games. Name 1 big game that he's ever won, guys. You can put that in a comment. Name 1 big game. Playoffs. Anything like that Lamar Jackson's won in his football career. Let me know. You tell me. And don't go back to high school. That don't count. I don't even know if he did win anything in high school. Probably not. But, no, it's easier there. But I'm sorry. I think Lamar Jackson is a phenomenal athlete, but I don't think he can win the big one. And that's just my opinion. Until he does and shuts me up and proves me wrong, I'm going to just have to go with it. It's just the way it is. And just see, what he can do. So, guys, until next time, we'll figure out what's going on with this team moving forward, and we'll break it down even further. We're going to get down to a little bit of the X's and O's. I'm going to do a little bit of an extra show for the people that are signed up to our membership program, part of the Mic Drop Mafia. So if you haven't signed up, sign up. I appreciate it. 99 cents a month. We're working on some emojis and things like that. So you'll also have the opportunity for live shows, your comments to be answered in priority. Also, when you comment on pre-recorded content, your comments will get answered priority also, because it's becoming a little bit hard to answer them all. So if you're a member, you're going to get your comment answered for sure, and it's just much appreciated and an easy way for you guys to support what we do here, especially trying to get everything rolling and make things better for you guys and continue to grow the channel moving forward. So until next time, I'm Jason. This is Mic Drop Sports. Like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.